Take a look at 4 miles of the most challenging road course racing on the North American continent, Road America.
Right you are, Steve, and it's been a landmark of road racing since the early 1950s when road racers began to come to Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. And now let's get a driver's eye view of this 4-mile road course, courtesy of the Roush Racing Team, number 65 Ford Mustang, a race car that has done very well so far this season, piloted by John Jones, a young man from Thunder Bay, Ontario, and his co-driver today at Elkhart Lake, Lynn St. James, one of the finest women drivers in the history of the sport. So as John Jones accelerates out of the Road America pits, it's going to be Lynn St. James, his teammate, who is going to narrate our way around this long road course. Here goes John Jones heading down the long straightaway, slightly downhill, heading toward the 90-degree corner, turn number 1. This is a very fast section, lots of hard braking required here.
Coming off the front straightaway at Road America, you're going to enter a series of turns 1, 2, and 3. You're going faster here than you are anywhere else on the racetrack, so that's why it's very important that you have your car under control. But the most important of these 3 turns is turn 3 because it leads to the second longest straightaway at Road America.
The veteran drivers call this the Moraine Sweep, and it leads onto a long, somewhat downhill straightaway through a stand of trees right behind the pits. Here Jones accelerates up to 4th gear, reaches nearly 150 miles an hour before having to slow for turn 5.
Entering turn 5, you're coming downhill, so you're carrying a lot of speed. In fact, almost as much as you are on the front straightaway. This is a very slow turn, though, turn 5. You're gearing down to 2nd gear, so it's the place that you use the brakes the most, and a lot of passing goes on here. Then as you exit turn 5, you're going up a hill, up into turn 6, which is a very fast, blind left-hand turn.
Under the bridge, crank the wheel hard left and head down into a section called Hurry Downs here at Elkhart Lake, where the cars begin to sweep a little bit to the right, still running downhill, still carrying an awful lot of speed as they come off the crest. Here Jones will touch the brakes, set the car up for a fast downhill left-hander called turn 8, and then sweep into the biggest corner on the racetrack called the Carousel.
Turn 8's another hard turn on brakes because you're coming downhill as you enter it. You've got a very hard left-hand turn that then leads to the Carousel, which is an extremely fast part of the track. Very hard to get your car set up through there. You're topping out in 3rd gear. You have to make a quick shift to 4th gear in our GTO Mustang. You think, God, I finally made it through, but you've got the work really ahead of you because you've got a really fast right-hand kink that leads onto the back straightaway.
And here comes perhaps the most difficult part of the Road America racetrack, the long, kind of twisting back straightaway. It's narrow, it runs through a stand of trees, there's not much room for mistakes as they head through a corner called turn 12, where we have seen and probably will see an awful lot of trouble. An extremely difficult, very fast right-hand corner that we see Jones plunging into right now, then through a little section called Thunder Valley, where he will accelerate up through the gears, that little kink to the right, and then a left-hander underneath the spectator bridge, and then breaking out of the woods here at Elkhart Lake and heading toward the final corner here on this 4-mile circuit. It's a fast right-hander that is critical for establishing a fast lap time.
Turn 14 is so important because it's the last turn on the track that leads onto the longest straightaway, the front straight. So it's very important that you get set up early and come out just as strong as you can.
As we watch John Jones go up the hill and head toward the finish line, he'll hit nearly 170 miles an hour in his Mustang, but the GTP car's nearly 200 in this same stretch of pavement. Our thanks to John and to Lynn St. James, to the Roush Racing Team for a terrific tour of this great racetrack.